I'm Tom Deacon, founder of Fable, a sustainable farm in Yorktown, New York. I grew up here in Westchester County. Over time, I had a hobby of growing plants, taking a lot of photographs out in nature, and that slowly turned into my passion that led me into farming. In the summer of 2014, I started growing on my own just as a hobby, but that particular winter, I started reading more and more about the toxic chemicals and pesticides in our food system. And it really made me concerned for what I was eating and what my family was eating. I started to grow more and more on my own. I had a spare bedroom that I purchased 8 hydroponic towers. I was growing in there. If I had a problem, I would just Google it and solve it, what I call the University of Google. After growing indoors for a while and having an abundance of basil and spinach and lettuce, something told me to just contact a few local restaurants and see if they'd be interested. By the time I got to that 5th restaurant, the first one had already responded and said yes. If you have fresh basil in New York in the middle of winter, I would absolutely take it. Within a few weeks, I thought of the name Fable. Fable means from farm to table, so I registered the company and started it. Even harvesting like this, just smelling the fresh cilantro shoots. You go to some of the grocery stores and you don't get that kind of quality. The biggest struggles were if a disease comes about, it'll wipe out your whole crop. So at one point, this greenhouse behind me was completely full of basil. I came down with something called basil downy mildew and wiped me out. So struggles like that are really, really tough, as well as getting yourself into the restaurants and networking with chefs and trying to get them to buy your produce. So in the summer months, we grow a lot of tomatoes, peppers, garlic, onions, eggplant, a lot of leafy greens like spinach, kale, Swiss chard. In our hydroponic greenhouse, we do a lot of herbs, basil, parsley, and mint. And 2 things that we're really starting to become known for is our microgreens. So those are short little shoots that are about a week to 2 old that a lot of restaurants garnish on their plates for some added flavor. And our free-range eggs. We have 200 chickens that provide actually really cool colored eggs. We have green egg layers, blue egg layers, brown, white, cream, gold. Year-round, we sell to restaurants. Our microgreens, our free-range eggs, and any winter crops that we are able to grow, we sell to restaurants. In the summer months, we have a farm stand and we attend farmers markets. With hydroponic growing and vertical growing, we have water that drips out of this tube and feeds the plant's roots that way. So rather than the roots in the soil absorbing fertilizer, they're in this tower absorbing the nutrients that are in the water. On a typical day, I'll get here between 6 and 7 a.m. I'll work with Grace and Beth, kind of planning our details. At 9 o'clock, I leave and I actually catch a train on Metro North into Manhattan, where I'm a film editor. Working in Times Square, just seeing the amount of people that are just moving fast and just powering through long days, it kind of is motivating to embrace these challenges and to tackle them head on. A lot of my friends are diehard Knicks fans, and when my friend Rena told me about the Knicks and Squarespace grant, and I thought that we kind of fit that model of being a small startup company. They told me that we won, and I was just blown away. With the grant money from the Knicks and Squarespace, we're going to renovate the woodworking shop in the barn and turn it into a proper marketplace. To use this grant money and to redo this, to have the shade, our produce is going to last longer, to have a showcase fridge with milk and cheese, we'll be able to sell more and to support the other farms that we're supporting. So it's just going to be a huge benefit, and I can't even fathom how different this year is going to be compared to last. So with the grant, we'll be making a new website through Squarespace. Squarespace's layout is a lot easier to use and very user-friendly, so that's going to help us create this in a faster way and also update it more easily without spending a lot of time on it. As a small startup farm, for us to truly make it is for us to be 100% renewable and sustainable, for our customers to constantly come back and be satisfied with the produce we're growing on a weekly basis, and for us to expand within Westchester to Manhattan and other surrounding counties. This is the best office anyone could have. Every once in a while, I just think back to to those 8 towers in my spare bedroom, and I just look at having 200 towers here in a greenhouse and 200 free-range chickens, and it's amazing, and it's really cool to think about.